tell it. People on the streets say Sabrina speaks. Tune into the show. She will let you know. Tell all your friends and family. Real talk is no joke. You get the news straight up from grassroots and concerns. You hear some people gone. So tell all your friends to tune in to the
Good evening,
show.
Cayman. I'm Sabrina Turner, and welcome to Sabrina Speaks, your daily dose of clarity, truth, and community insights. Every weekday from 5 to 6:30 p.m., we're tackling the issues that affect you, from national headlines to grassroots concerns. Whether you're in traffic or winding down your day, this is your chance to hear it straight and speak your truth. So buckle up, Cayman. We're not holding back.
This is the show. We gotta let you know. Now we got to go.
And now here's Sabrina.
Well, what do you know? Good afternoon. I think all the mics are open. Yes, happy Monday, everybody. Happy Monday, and welcome to another episode of Sabrina Speaks. Yes, voices of the islands, conversations for the world, and the podcast where voices rise, stories unfold, and inspiration takes center stage. I'm your host, Sabrina, and it's good to be back with you this week. And I hope that your week will be blessed with positive vibes and tons of happiness. Happy Monday to each and every one of you. I hope that you all had a very good weekend, because I did. I must say so. I made the best of the weekend, definitely. And you can see what I did in the background. But, before further ado, the content you're about to hear, including any discussions or opinions from myself, guests, and our participants, is intended solely for general informational and entertainment purposes. It's not a substitute for professional, legal, medical, or financial advice. So I encourage you to consult with a qualified professional for specific concerns. Bridge Media Limited and all its affiliates disclaims all liability for any decisions or actions taken in reliance on the information presented. And please, don't forget to follow, like, share, and subscribe so you don't miss an episode. Yes, it's good to be back with you today. And the show is going to be very informative, as we usually do right here on Sabrina Speaks. Yes. We're going to keep it real. We're going to keep it bustling as well. But, the festive season is here. And I know that kicked off from last week. You heard me brought you an episode just delving into it. Is it too early? Well, guess what? It's already here. And it's filled with a time of joy and family, and everyone is out celebrating. But it's also a time when we must take and be extra vigilant as well. So in this first hour, unless you say otherwise, because I'm steered by you, but definitely in this first hour of this episode, I'll take some time and talk a little bit about holiday safety a little bit more, and looking at it as well from, we've heard what's happening in the weekend, over the weekend. I saw the video. Sandra did an entire in-depth show this morning, but we saw how businesses and customers, we will talk about how businesses and customers can protect themselves from theft, scams, fraud during this busy shopping season, and even counterfeit money. I'm noticing in other jurisdiction as well, they've seen an increase in that. Right there in Florida, there are some serious counterfeit $100 notes that are in circulation. We don't know, it could end up here, to stolen credit cards as well. And I want, again, in this first hour, to explore the real impacts that has on small businesses. And we'll look into a little bit about any legislation here in the Cayman Islands, like who's responsible a little bit. Yeah. And we'll, what steps can we take to stay secure while enjoying the holidays? And, safety doesn't stop really at the counter, at home as well. And I want to do some home safety tips like locking your doors and windows, use timers for lights if you're going to be away, and avoid leaving gifts visible through windows. And saying all of that, we understand the power of social media and online. I want to also share with you some tips and being mindful of what you share. Posting expensive gifts inside your house or even broadcasting live your location can also make you a target, you know. So save those holidays posts is my advice to anybody for later, and keep your privacy settings tight because, the season is about cheer. We know that. And it shouldn't be about fear, but we can't be stupid either. You got to be cautious with what you do and be smart. And, by securing your homes and being smart even online and practicing safe shopping. I can't believe we're saying that in the Cayman Islands, but you know what? Yeah, the time has come that we actually have to think and talk this way. We protect not only your families, we protect our business, and definitely by extension, our communities. And then on the second half of today's show, I'll be joined by Mr. Woody Foster of Foster's IGA. I know I got a question in there from a fan from last week in the second half, and we're going to be labeling that side, holiday cheer. You see that, right? We'll discuss how families are navigating the season of giving amidst the high prices. Has anything changed? American Thanksgiving is this Thursday. And a lot of us will be celebrating here as well. And it's our Cayman Thanksgiving this weekend as well. But really, there's some specials going on at Foster's. And what all of these prices, being smart with your shopping, and how Cayman's leading groceries store, one of Cayman's leading grocery stores, is working to balance community cheer with economic realities. So I'm encouraging you, please, to stay with me for today's program. We'll dabble a little bit into some headlines. I saw some local headlines came up just before I went live as well. And we will talk a little bit about that. There's some stuff that's going around on social media. And tomorrow is going to be, I would say, I've been hearing a lot of chatter out this weekend as well about some immigration chatter with persons wanting to amend work permits, that sort of stuff. So because of the nature of today's show, I've pushed that conversation to tomorrow. So we're going to delve into work permit amendments, that sort of stuff. And I think there was a post that Denny tagged me in about clause 35. I'll tell you what that means. Some people tend to think that means the Cayman Islands could be a sellout. I'll get you to weigh in on that tomorrow, but tomorrow is going to be pretty big with persons wanting now to amend their work permits, general questions coming up about that, how to navigate the system. So that's in store for tomorrow as well. But before we go into the cooks of today's show, and I see you guys building right there. We know everyone is out and about. I'm hearing talks about Christmas parties. Yeah. And all of that good stuff. So everybody needs to know what's going on with the weather. Right now, this evening's weather, thanks to the Cayman Islands National Weather Service, the synopsis calls for mostly fair conditions are expected with low to moderate chance of a few sporadic showers as a ridge of high pressure dominates the weather pattern across the region, maintaining moderate to locally fresh winds and seas. For tonight's forecast calls for fair to cloudy skies with a 30% chance of showers. Temperatures will fall to the upper 70s. Winds will be east to northeast at 10 to 15 knots with higher gusts. Seas will be moderate with wave heights of 3 to 5 feet. Now, tomorrow's forecast calls for fair to partly cloudy skies with a 30% chance of showers. Temperatures will rise to the mid to upper 80s with a heat index of 95. Winds will be east to northeast at 10 to 15 knots. Seas will be moderate with wave heights of 3 to 5 feet. Now, for guys, the boaters out there, I see a headlines where a boat has been stolen too. Oh my God, there we go. Well, a low tide for this evening is expected at 7:29. The high tide at 11:35. Tomorrow, low tide at 5:50 a.m. and a high tide at 1:32 p.m. Sun will set this evening at 5:44 and sunrise tomorrow morning at 6:40. Outlook for the weather is for similar weather conditions through Thursday. So there you got it. So we got week, pretty much almost a week in advance. Happy anniversary to all of the wedding people out there. I bumped into a couple. Charming and Glenn, kudos to you. Happy anniversary. May you have many, many more. And quite a long time. Good for you. Kudos to you. Happy wedding anniversary to you. And for all of the persons who I may have missed that it isn't popping up, thank God for Facebook on my Facebook page. Happy birthday. Happy birthday. And I know I got a couple coming up this week. So yeah, we'll be celebrating those as well. Hey, Connie, how you doing? Welcome, welcome, welcome. I hope you are doing good. You were actually first to comment today. Good for you. Connie, I can message you after the show. So you make sure you answer me, okay? Happy Monday to you, Damien. How are you? Hope you had a good weekend. I'm going to do a note for myself, Connie. Yeah, Marshall, good evening to you. I hope you're hard at work and enjoyed. You hope you had a good weekend. Are you going to be off on Thursday, or you're going to be indulging in all of the gobble gobble over there? Whatever you do, have fun. Have fun doing it and enjoy the season. They say when you go to Rome, you do as the Romans do, huh? Well, whatever you do, Marshall, enjoy, have fun. But to all of you just joining me, see what I did at the back? Look, give me a thumbs up if you like the back. I tried to do. There's really not a lot of space in this studio, this makeshift, but I do have a little corner carved out where I can do a little staging. And for those of you, I do enjoy Christmas. I love Christmas. But what I've noticed is that the older I've gotten, I'm appreciating more experiences with family and friends, like just going out. Thank you so much, Connie. Bonnie, you're a sweetheart. I just enjoy going out, that sort of stuff, and just spending time with family and friends. To me, those experiences really hits home to me. And but this is my favorite time of the year. I'm still undecided as to whether or not I'll do a tree, but I got all of my Christmas decor up pretty much, just because they're there. And it's amazing how from one season to the, I will be working on Thursday. What kind of thing is that, Marshall? Oh, okay. Interesting. Thank you, my friend Tisha. I hope you're feeling better. Oh, okay. Oh, Marshall, what a bummer. But I'm quite sure you're still going to eat, or you're going to party over the weekend anyhow. I know you will party. But yeah, I enjoy just spending time with family and just going out just because, like hooking up with friends, like just be spontaneous. Oh, I'm here, or I'm close to wherever. You want to do lunch? You want to do this when I do get out. But of course, when I go out in the morning, like even to run errands and stuff, because I was out and about today, which is why I thought that was interesting. Leaving Sandra's show, I did not see her entire show, but I heard conversations and people were like, I listening to her now. And okay. But then I did make 2 stops. One place they knew who I was. That's fine. If you notice, I got highlights in now. That's fine. But I went to like big block stores and they don't know me from Adam. And I thought it was so topical with what transpired with that poor individual who's lost their wallets and just got hammered with unscrupulous persons. But it's weird. Not one person asked me for my ID. And I don't know them. And some tapped, some pushed it into thing and whatever into the point of sale machine. But not one person, and it's not like I knew them, that asked me for an ID. And you would think with all of the social media coverage that happened that was placed on what was going on here, that, some of these stores would have actually beefed up on their protocols, which raised concern leading into my conversation with Mr. Woody today. I thought it would have been just my experience. I could be honest with you today. I said, why not speak about it for the first couple of minutes on the show? Because I'm telling you, I think we've become too complacent, and there are telltale signs for true. So not one person asked me for ID today. And I went to, with the exception of kudos to Mel at Vanity for layering me and my girl Carol. You did it finally, about time. But I love you lots. I love you, Carol. It turned out well. But Mel, thank you, Melvin at Vanity and Carol at Slave Beauty Bar and all the guys there. Yeah, my head's so big I need two. But besides those places that I went, no one asked me for ID. And I thought that was quite interesting. I didn't say anything, but I was very observant. So yeah. Hi, Miss Lucille. Good evening, beautiful girl. I like your Christmas. Oh, thank you. All over on Owner Cayman Islands. Always, I'll miss she. Hope she's doing HNSC that. Yeah, but it's good to see you, Miss Lucille. Hear from you over there in the UK. It must be getting cold now, isn't it? I leave that to you guys over there. Yep, and Marshall will be working. Connie Bonnie. I outgrow Christmas. Can't be bothered. I just like the feeling, Connie, to be honest. I like the spirit. I like just hanging with people, but little do you, the older I get, I'm realizing that. Good company, though. Good company. I don't like negative vibes. I like people just go happy-go-lucky and just spontaneous. Let's go here. Let's go there. But then I still have to be gently reminded, you have a 5 o'clock show, right, Tisha? Yeah. So that's the only thing. If I do lunch, just like my lunches, I love lunches. That you don't really have a clock, then that's, what do you call that? But yes. Hi, Miss Bonnelly. How are you, my dear? Happy holidays to you. So good to see you commenting. Wishing you a good week and hope you're doing well. Oh, thank you. So you did. Sonia. So why you didn't touch me? Why you didn't tap me? Thank you so much. Girl, the highlight's bright, but I'm doing my thing. I said I'm no longer in Parliament, so why not rock good highlights? Yep. Me coming right out. Marshall, I got to make those coins first, then I'll be okay. Good. Smart. Yeah, spend a little bit on yourself a little bit, Marshall. Miss Dorothy, good evening to you, my love. Good to have you all here. Auntie, you stay there and think they don't know you. Well, like I said, no one asked me for ID. And I thought that was strange. I just think it should be practiced, even if you know somebody. Yeah, 1-2 times I've used, because I either didn't have my phone on me or I left my wallet. And I went in and I would use Eric's card and hoping that they don't ask or the pin. And thankfully, well, I knew his pin, but he can give me his pins because I'm like Dory when it comes to memory. I don't have memory. And I've used his card and I said, well, if it's anything, I guess I'll say I'm Erica, but that would be wrong. I would be breaking the law, right? But no, I've never, ever really, hardly ever anybody ask me for ID. So I thought that was strange with all of this. I would have done the same. I'm afraid of celebrity. Oh, Lord. No, man. I'm so down to earth. You guys do not understand it. You see me, well, once you identify yourself, we get into big conversation. I was in Flow, big up to Countryside Flow. Oh, my God. Galleria was like a zoo. It was mayhem down there. And I just went to Countryside and it was a breeze. And yeah, it was good. I was able to engage with some of the locals there. There was a little baby in there. And I knew that baby, little girl, was an island baby. Barefooted as they could be. Running around the place. But I liked the vibe out there in Countryside. There's something about that location. So kudos to the staff out there. Flow General. But definitely I got through clickety split at Flow and I joined the queue. I do not get, even when I was in government and I could go out and I pay my bills. Life is the same. People would say, you won't go first? And I thought that was so sweet. But no, I gave me an opportunity to stay in the line and talk with people and to just get to hear what they have to say. I like that. But yeah, there we go. I didn't realize in preparing for this segment as well. Did you know that theft rise during the holidays? I was digging and preparing for this segment, and there is, you always have theft and credit card fraud, that sort of stuff during the year, but it's actually statistically proven that retail theft spikes by 30% during the holiday season, just during the Christmas holidays. And that is a range of number of things, and because of crowds in the store, distracted shoppers, that sort of stuff. And then even in the US, this is based on stats from the US. Guess this number just blew my mind. Organized retail crime costs US businesses during a holiday season over $112 billion. Guess when? That will last year. Yes, organized retail crime has cost United States businesses over $112 billion US dollars in 2024. Now that, my friends, shows how serious the issue has become. And they're also seeing, compliments of the US Chamber of Commerce, they're also seeing online scams and credit card fraud also more increase as more people, of course, shop digitally. Can you imagine? So you kind of wonder, what can we do to protect ourselves? You damn if you do, and you damn if you don't. Because if you go out, like what happened with the poor person that lost their wallet, or their wallet dropped off their vehicle, and you even got cash, you're still susceptible. And at least once cash is gone, that's it, right? But at least if you realize that you've lost your wallet, or your card has been compromised, you can call and stop it and block it. Once you got cash on you, guess what? There's no way of recalling that. So some of these businesses, like I said, it's one thing of knowing your customer, like me. They may know me, I don't know them, but I think even so, it's maybe a little weird, but practice makes perfect. Ask for ID. And some of these businesses as well should install cameras and mirrors and even signage to say that we have beefed up additional security during this time, or just security has been beefed up. Let people know, because that's creating an atmosphere of safety as well for your shoppers, right? And the whole protecting yourself while you're shopping. I know me, I love my handbag. I would caution persons to just stay alert and keep your bags closed, like zipped up. A lot of us are going to be traveling thanks to the additional 500 that Honorable Michael Miles and this government has given for those who want to shop. It kicks in on the 29th to the 11th of January. When you travel, even locally, I have a habit when I go to the grocery store to just put my handbag, but I'm pushing the cart with my handbag strap in my hand, and push the cart, and it's sitting right there, like where you would put the baby to sit down. But my bag is closed. And even when it comes to your wallets in front of pockets, put it in the front instead of in the back. I know for guys that's a little weird. And one of the safety tips is to avoid displaying cash. So it's the debate of cash versus debit credit card, because we're open to be hit somewhere, and I'm hoping that nobody actually gets robbed over the holidays, despite what is happening. But another thing as well, tips is to guard your cards by using those. We see what's happening now with contactless payments or mobile wallets. Everything is just up. And, at the end of the day, even though it's the holidays are about giving and not taking, we have to keep our celebrations safe as well. Even when we're in these crowded stores, avoid being overly absorbed in phones or deep into conversations with others that you don't even realize your purse, your wallet, whatever is actually open. And these are some of the things that can pump. They can bump you. They can have these card readers and all that. So you have your debit and credit cards into those safety holders that you can't really scan them. I saw something where they say aluminum foil. can also save you from these card readers. Here we are talking about all of these things, but yet you would think you would be a little bit safer with credit or debit cards. Yeah. But, at the end of the days, when it comes to even customer reassurance, once you own a business, it is in your best interest to just make it known that you've done everything in your power to protect your customers. And in this case, train your staff to make sure that they do the necessary checks and all that sort of stuff. Because again, it is just the season. A lot more people will be out. People will be mingling with persons. There are going to be lots of parties and all that sort of stuff. You just want to enjoy the season, but don't let your guard down either. But some of the key takeaways that I would advise, like business owners, to just include a blend of physical vigilance. I know it may be a little bit more money on you, and also beef up your digital safeguards as well. And at the end of the day, like how I said, I went out. Even if you may know me, it's just practice. I should be the one that you really don't have a problem asking for an ID, because it's okay. You can practice with me. But one of the questions came up, like what transpired over the weekend, whether or not retailers would then automatically be liable should the necessary checks and balances not be done and transactions are made by somebody else and not the holder of the card. Well, let me tell you this. It's one thing when it comes to even accepting counterfeit currency. Do you know that? Let's say there's $100, $50 note, whatever is accepted by a store. This is cash now. Under the Cayman Islands Penal Code, knowingly accepting or passing counterfeit money straight up is criminal. But if a business unknowingly accepts counterfeit notes, unfortunately for them, they bear the financial loss. Yeah. Because right now, we can't, under the laws here, banks don't reimburse fake currency on fake currency. So that's unfortunately a loss for that business establishment. Now, when it comes to credit and debit card fraud, here in the Cayman Islands as well, we look at fraudsters who pretty much target local merchants by the misuse of point of sale terminals. They have them all over the place, and they got the skimmers and everything. But there are certain checks and balances that merchants can do, like we say, check and ask for ID, and just basic protocols, read the room. And some of the things that I've seen as well, even in some of the video caption of what transpired, it was obvious that it was the same darn card being used by multiple persons. It means you need to look at the numbers, even if it's the last 4 digits. And if it's repetitive with the same card over 3 or 4 different persons, that should be a red flag. So when you look at retailers' responsibility, their retailers' responsibility where due diligence is concerned, all store owners or merchants are expected to take the reasonable steps to verify transactions. And again, that goes to ID. Signature comparison, which in a government issued ID will have signature and you can compare it. Or like what Sandra was saying, what I did see is that on the back of hers, which I do as well, instead of doing my signature, I say CID. CID, meaning you have to ask me for my ID in order to see if the signature that I'm putting on the receipt aligns, right? And then the ID should match with the name on the debit or credit card. So when you look at all of these things that you can do, banks generally protect customers against unauthorized cards use, provided that they report it promptly. But until that's reported, the bank is unaware if the certain checks and balances are not actually being done by those retailers. And customers too are normally advised to safeguard their PINs, like when you're keying in your code, try to obscure the area where you're putting in your numbers as much as you can, and ask for every transaction being run, change your protocols or your security features for every debit card transaction that you could actually get a notification on your phone. We always have our phone. Those are key things. And if you don't know, I'm quite sure you can call your bank or go into your bank and they will have somebody to actually help you. But when it comes to counterfeit currency, unfortunately, merchants bear the loss if they actually accept fake notes unknowingly. And this is during that time that we will see that happen as well. And if a card, for example, is stolen, that is outright, once caught, but straight up, a fraudster commits a crime. If they're using a card that's not theirs, but the merchants may lose funds through if there's a charge back or if they fail to follow proper verification procedures. So this is going to be interesting how this one plays out. Will these offenders actually be apprehended? The conversation has ensued. Who is responsible? Because certain protocols had not been obviously based on surveillance camera were not followed through. It's quite interesting. But Cayman law really criminalizes fraud and counterfeit use when it comes to counterfeit currency. But liability for merchants depends on whether they act with reasonable care. So for you to prove that with all the footage, there is a window that you could possibly come after some of these storekeepers. Like I said, there is a possibility if you could prove that certain due diligence was not done with every transaction, which leads me to wonder if it's ever been questioned whether or not that person would actually be, that business could be held responsible. Hi, Lavana, how you doing? Hope you're continuing on the mend. Oh, Miss Lucille, you were asking for Michelma. Michelma is not here. Michelma is off island. She will be until the new year. There you go. So we all knew what happened there. So you can privately message her. Yep. And let's see. I think they're off as well in your neck of the woods. So let's see. Reach out to him as well. Hope, Lavana, hope you're doing well. You had a good weekend and each day you're feeling better. I know in the afternoon you get a little more in a downer. That happens. But each day, hopefully you will actually feel better and better. Now, another thing that we need to do here in the Cayman Islands, we're huge on social media, right? And even though it's full of joy and we're excited to share what we got, it is also an excellent time for opportunists, you know? And when it comes to protecting our homes, is one thing out in the shopping and what you do with your bags and your handbag and going to the car and putting stuff in the car and going back shopping and all that. All of those things, you got to be vigilant. That is not only limited to New York, Chicago, Fort Lauderdale, Tampa. That exists here. You have to be careful now as well, okay? But another thing that we tend to forget, unless there's extended family or friends that are down for the holidays, and there's usually someone home either baking those Christmas cakes or cooking or just hanging out, protecting your homes as well is key. Just as important as protecting your wallets as well. And some of the safety tips that we got to repeat this over and over and over again. We are accustomed many a times to have more of a lax type of way of lifestyle here, but that is changing as we can see. Oh, I feel so bad that I actually had to say that, but it's an opportunistic time for persons to take advantage and pretty much invade our personal space. So I would implore everyone who's going out, if you don't have a home security system, whether or not you have a home security system, to make sure you lock your doors and windows. And also, this may be a time to either close your blinds or pull your curtains, even if you're stepping out briefly. Please, I am appealing to you. Don't leave everything wide open because people may just be seeing things and they take advantage of you while you're not at home. And another thing as well, use timers for lights. I know a lot of us will be putting up Christmas decorations and that sort of stuff. You may have some lights outside, but even like a lamp, you can get those smart plugs where you can operate these features from your phone. You could do like an entryway table where you could put on a lamp at a door or out exterior lights if you don't have dusk to dawn or solar lights. You could get some of those smart ones with ring and you can turn them on and off. That's also key. So it appears as though somebody's at home even when they're not, right? And another thing, don't leave packages or gifts. I said this at the beginning, visible through windows. It is definitely an open invitation, especially if it's big eye. That when I was a little girl. But now you can get some nice gifts in small packages. One of the other things you could do as well is ask a trusted neighbor to keep an eye out. And if they see anybody weird or suspicious around your house, to just give you a call. That's what neighborhood watches are for. And I know here in Prospect and Red Bay, we have very, very active WhatsApp community group chats. And trust me, from solving crimes, stolen bicycles, lost dogs, you name it, that they actually are on the money here. So yeah, but these are good things that we should do in our home, to be honest with you. This is S Mood Cruise. People may not know that they can limit the tap and go cards to a small amount in the event that their card is stolen. Mine is 50,000. What do you mean? 50,000 is your limit, but you can limit exactly how much, or $50. $50 is your limit. So any transaction over $50, I got you. Any transaction over $50, you will be alerted. Good. Yeah, that's what I was saying earlier on. And if they don't know how to do these features, they can walk into the bank at the customer service. And I'm quite sure once they have to log in on their phone, that can be easily helped. Yeah. So I think it's best. $50 is still a punch for some people. But it's annoying every time you do something. Well, yeah, the average is 50. But yeah, just do those settings on your debit and credit card. You can do that even on your credit cards as well. Thank you for sharing that again. And good for you. So they're not going to hit you too hard. But wow, that was a dent. Damien, look out for scam messages from fake delivery notification. Example, Amazon saying you need to contact them to make payment. Well, I know one thing. Amazon won't catch Sabrina. They won't catch me. I have even warned my bankers that should they send me an email, if it's not followed by a call, more than likely I'm going to fall out of time with due diligence, because even with banks that I bank with, I don't respond to emails like that unless it's an ongoing conversation. And even then, once it asks for payment or giving a credit card number, Sabrina, don't pay it no mind. Like if I don't bank, let's say with Bank of Butterfield, why would I be responding to an email from Butterfield? If I have no affiliation with Bank of Butterfield, why would I even pay an email coming to my email or WhatsApp any mind? I would have no reason to pay it any mind because I am not a customer of that financial institution. And I only use that as an example. But now if it's a bank that I use, I would probably, but again, there are telltale signs and stuff that you don't do. But sometimes they come in and I still don't pay them any mind because I want to see how much. And then if it's followed by a call, sometimes you'll get the 814, I think, number or whatever number. It makes sense. So for me, that's how I would do it. Yes, any transaction over your limit, you would need to enter the PIN. Gotcha. All right. Yeah, these are some safety tips that we can all take into consideration this holiday season that I feel would make us all feel better. Because let me tell you something, with how tight cash is right now and how everybody has to work so hard, I tell you what, Churchill's, Borden Funeral Home, my family would have already been in contact with them. And because I'd have dead. And to see really that you find something, Miss Donna and I were speaking, you find something that is not yours and you just go on a joyride. That is like, oh. And then everybody from that country gets branded. And it is so sad. It is really so sad that we are living in this type of society. But even now I see on CMR TV and CMR Facebook page, 2 wallets have been found, and Sandra has a public post there. So it's obvious it might be wallet season. People are just putting down their wallets, or I don't know what's going on. But we're just asking you to be more vigilant, to be honest with you. Here we have the porch pirates. Oh, yes, in the US. They just be waiting for Amazon truck to deliver the goods, and then they run and take it. I always thought, Marshall, to be honest with you, how cool that was, but then how susceptible customers made themselves. Again, it just shows you how society is changing pretty much on a daily basis. And even like your mailbox out by the road, because we all have post office here. You know how that is. We got to go to the mail and mail. But, okay. At the end of the day, for what you guys with Amazon, I just thought that was so susceptible. But now, I think that will eventually change, and they're going to have to go like to a central place now where you guys are going to probably have to go and collect your stuff like a UPS, or they're going to have to do something. But that's interesting, or have it dropped only when you know somebody's going to be home. But anything can happen. You could just get delayed in traffic, but it's weird how you guys do that in the US. The real Michelle, how are you? Hope you had a good weekend. I was hacked, even though professional IT advised my devices had been compromised. I've been living in survival mode for 2 years. No technology, really? No email, YouTube comments, my only commute. Oh, really? What has your life been like? No emails. That's PTSD, huh? Oh my goodness. I know that must be just as bad as someone breaking into your house. Should you be compromised? IT professionals insisted that I was not hacked. 2 years later, no access to my trust fund because the trustees are thieves. Facebook accounts, email, iCloud, Google accounts, all gone. Now, no phone. Are you kidding me? I hope you got some legal representation, but here we go again, real Michelle. Oh my God. And you know how hard that's going to be to prove? Because then it's your word against theirs. And there you go. If you don't have paper to back up all of what oh God, I sympathize with you, my love, with whatever the heck. And I really hope 2 years. Oh my God. And you're an attorney. Oh God, that make it even worse. So you're double PTSD. OMG. So how are you going to navigate this? That'll be interesting. But thank you for trusting YouTube and commenting, because I really like your feedback here on this platform. But I'm sorry that you had to go through that. They stole my ID and law firm. Oh my goodness. Oof. Well, that's 2 years would feel like 2 decades. Oh, I really hope you get that resolved. Because how life right now is evolving, it's as though everything is going digital. Danny, people are saying you are running out of credit, and I noticed you tagged me in a post with Cause 35, where I think there was a video about persons coming in and buying land, and they're looking at different advertising to take people's lands away from them. And it's something like that. That's what I was. I hope you're doing well, though, Danny. Danny's just commenting, ladies and gentlemen. And for the record, people have been saying they've been missing you. Can you imagine? People miss Danny. Yeah, but I hope you get this, Real Michelle. I hope you get this sorted out and quick. Yeah. So let's look at a little bit of social media etiquette. Think twice before posting photos of expensive gifts inside your homes. And there's a reason why I went over this, because it's quite easy. Even a selfie, it's amazing what you can capture. And if you fast like me, when I see a picture, I look beyond the shoulder. I fast. I look to see what's in the back. So yeah, I fast like that. And others are doing it, but I don't have an agenda. But be careful how you're posting pictures, period. And especially if there's a possibility that expensive gifts or gifts, period, of in your home, and because it can tip off thieves. And again, your location on your phone, especially if you're going to do a live, avoid sharing your live location. I've seen people who are going away for the holidays and they literally post their boarding pass. On my way to New York for the holidays. First of all, you're telling the world that you're no longer home. You're no longer in the jurisdiction where you reside, and you're going to New York. That boarding pass alone not only has your name, it will have your seat unless you obscure certain things. And there are also other coded information on that. I think, if I'm not mistaken, could bear even your date of birth. So it tells your airline and all of that sort of stuff. So you're setting yourself up for where you're going, because they know where you're going to go. And you're setting yourself up for where you're leaving, because if you're Caymanian or residing in Cayman, somebody may actually know where you live. And because you're so bold saying, I'm going to New York, I'm going to Chicago, I'm going to wherever for the Christmas holidays. Guess what? Your place where you live here in the Cayman Islands is open season. Good evening, my dear. How are you?
Not bad. I found some credit.
Yeah, you did. You found credit. Oh, Cameron will be happy. I noticed that you tagged me in a post, but tomorrow the conversations ensued, and I'm hearing a lot more persons talking about how they go about getting work permits amended for dependents and all that sort of stuff. So I was going to do a segment tomorrow on immigration, which I know people love, that would just totally segue into what you tagged me in under the immigration reform, section 35 that you tagged me in. So
yeah, the public really needs to
understand what that is.
Yes. I think you should take your time and explain
what that means. Yeah. So that was what I don't have a problem with you coming in, because you've already got it out there. I saw you tagged every member of government, including myself. And I can break that section that is being proposed down in layman's terms. I can probably draw some examples, and then I'll figure out playing the YouTube link that you sent and play that. So we'll put more context to why you came up with that and how to tie it in. But definitely, especially for persons who were displaced or are displaced in Jamaica, and you have persons wanting to bring their children or family member, add them on to work permits, that I can go in detail with, because there are some strict parameters. There has been no amendments to local immigration laws because of Hurricane Melissa, and persons, nothing with the threshold of income has changed. So I thought it would be good to just dovetail onto that tomorrow, and then bring what you tagged me into the discussion. So
What I just heard you talking about there about Real Michelle, that sounds horrifying.
Yeah. I mean, the hairs on my neck back stirred up when I realized what Real Michelle is going through.
Well, identity theft. I'm not sure all of what Real Michelle's issues are, but identity theft is something that I'm sure that there is some elements of it taking place at the moment, but you're not going to really experience that until we have a digitalized present.
Mm-hmm.
And so that is something that we're going to have to deal with once
Mm-hmm.
the ID gets up and running in full swing. Now, I'm not recommending the government do that.
I don't think we can stop it from the tone in which I'm seeing.
Oh, well, when Ralston was on CMR recently explaining the fees, he said in a very crystal clear way that they are doing it. It'll
There
be
you go.
mandatory. Yeah.
There you go.
There was no ifs, ands, buts, or suppose about it.
Mm-hmm.
Um, but I think that the public, see what the problem is when you look at something that has pros
Mm-hmm.
and you just focus on the pros and you don't focus on what the cons are,
Right.
because these are real. You remember when it was first being brought out that um, some of us who railed against it
Mm-hmm.
um, asked for the power for cabinet to make any list by regulation be removed from the bill.
Yes. Yes.
Do you know why we did that?
Why?
That video that I posted um, uh, uh, and tagged you on.
Mm-hmm.
Ask yourself if you were a government and you wanted to do whatever, one of the mechanisms that you would need is the ability to create lists to keep track of how you wish to treat people.
Mm-hmm.
Well, you would need to have the power to create whatever lists you want,
Want.
right?
And the operative statement there, you would need the power to.
That's right. And that is why, and now nothing stops the government from creating a list, but
Mm-hmm.
what they would have to do is go to the House and
Legislation. Mm-hmm.
explain why they want the list, right?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Because you see, we should be given the opportunity to examine the actions of government. It shouldn't be that government can just operate in a way that we don't even know what's happening, and which is what would happen if you gave them the power to just create whichever list they feel like creating without having to explain it and
But
justify the actions.
would you be so open to say giving them the power when once they're elected, numbers matter and people are feeling that they're at the losing end of the pool because numbers matter in there? And it's like,
No, I know, but here's what the problem is. I saw someone in the supermarket today, and he was talking to me about the situation that we're in.
mm-hmm.
And the way where I see Cayman right at the moment is that there's a saying that says that there are people who build things, right? And so there was a period uh, in the past in which some really important decisions were made. It took a lot of courage to make those decisions. It took a lot of hard work. It took vision
Mm-hmm.
to build Cayman to where it is today, right?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
But the problem is that there's another group of people that would inherit what was built.
Right.
I think we're in a period where we're squandering our rights. We don't really truly appreciate when a veteran said that they served for us. We don't really appreciate what that means,
You're quite right.
right? The cost
Mm-hmm.
to purchase the freedoms that we have right now,
Mm-hmm.
and we're about to squander them. Just let them go. The politicians who think about things for all sorts of reasons, in many cases, which have nothing to do with our interests.
But we have
Now, if
to
we're
we have to run the country. We have to make sure that we do whatever it takes to keep money circulating.
listen
Why
to
you
me,
think they
listen.
elect us?
No, listen to me. I hold the view. You see how when Cayman locked down during the
COVID pandemic.
COVID,
Mm.
You know how that created a situation where we didn't have a lot of deaths. People wanted to be here.
Mm-hmm. It created a demand because we were a bubble.
That's right. If we were to not sign up to this nonsense that the world wants to do,
Look at
we
it from
would
the flip
create
side.
that's right. We would create a place where people would really want to be. You better have a good immigration policy then.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Because the
And
demand would definitely be there from
that's
everybody
right.
who doesn't want to be controlled
That's
by this,
right. That's right.
digitization of world. We
That's
would be
right.
unique.
And there is more people who feel that way than you might imagine. They're not going around saying it.
Yeah.
Okay. But they're there.
Mm-hmm.
And the whole issue of identity theft is going to become, and now I know that the government believes
Mm-hmm.
that they'll be able to handle that because they feel they'll be able to do everything.
Mm-hmm.
But that's really, really naive.
Right.
All right. So in AI right now is being used by criminals to assist them
Mm-hmm.
in the nuances necessary to hack systems.
Okay.
Right. And what is going to happen is that those vulnerabilities are going to continue to exist.
Mm-hmm.
And one of the things that Europe is fighting for at the moment is to do what is called client-side scanning.
Client side.
Client-side scanning.
Mm-hmm.
Like, so when you have a computer system, you have what's called a server, and then which would be like a website, like say CMR TV website.
Right.
That would have a server running that, right?
Mm-hmm.
And client means any application like on your phone, on your laptop, on your desktop that interacts with that website.
Mm-hmm.
That device is a client to the server.
Okay.
So the client would ask the server a question, and the server would respond with an answer by showing you the web page you want or piece of information that you're asking about. Right. That's a reply. Well, what they're saying is that all of these devices, stuff that even your digital ID would be on, they want client-side scanning. Well, that means that what that technically means is that the government in Europe wants to be able to instruct whoever is making the operating system on your phone, whether that's Apple or whoever, to capture the information that you have inputted into your phone before it could be encrypted.
Oh.
In other words, to hell with your right to privacy.
So what's the sense of, I guess they're telling us to read it, but we don't read the fine print.
That's right. But let me tell you what the consequences of that is, right? Because when I listened to what you were just saying about the real Michelle, I mean,
what has happened to them?
Horror started going through my mind.
2 years.
Because if you think that having the government be in a position where they can see every single thing that you type into your phone or your laptop or desktop, if you think that that is horrifying, ask yourself what happens when a criminal gains control of that because there's a vulnerability in the operating system.
God. I'm going to ask you to stick a pin because I got my guest on. Mr. Woody's in the background. But we can continue this tomorrow because, like I said, I'm going to go into immigration that kind of aligns with what you're saying. So leave that as a cliffhanger with me because I don't want to disrespect my guests. Please.
All right. Take care.
All right. Take care. Thanks. Well, I want to thank that caller. We have, I told you in the second half of today's episode of Sabrina Speaks, that the holiday season is upon us. And, this is a time of the season of family and food and tradition. And, while we may look forward to the joy of gathering around the table, we also know that behind every ham turkey and festive spread lies a complex story. Yes, there is, and it's real for those persons in the business. The complex story of supply chains, rising cost, and definitely resilience. So I will be joined right now by a familiar voice, Mr. Woody Foster of Foster's IGA, and it's a long overdue conversation. Check in with him, and I'm just so happy that he's able to avail himself. Thanking him, and he's going to be sharing with us some holiday special promotions that are ongoing right now and what we can expect, but also to help us understand the bigger picture. Since we last spoke, how global tariffs you've heard that word so much times, and even the new fees, the new revenue fees. And yeah, Hurricane Melissa is going to come up in this. And, it's all about supply chains. We'll get a feedback on him because everything on the shelf comes from somewhere. So this evening, I want you to grab your glasses, sit back, and of course, 936-8255, you can participate into the conversation. We'll explore how Foster's is navigating these challenges and what it means to Cayman's food sustainability as well, and how our community can continue to celebrate with both cheer and awareness. So without further ado, let's welcome Mr. Woody to the stage. Good evening, Mr. Foster. How are you?
I'm good, Sabrina. How are you?
I am fair to find, was out and about and trying to get ahead of the festive rush. I know that Thursday is American Thanksgiving, and I got my eyes on the ham, those spiral honey hams. Woody, honey ham.
Well, that one is always tricky every year, and whether we're going to actually get it or not. Because we only
really?
sell it one time of year, really, of the specific type, and it's always a challenge.
Oh my God, leave it to me to have the difficult one, But I told my family, I said, look, I see some price tags there, and if somebody don't want to eat a spiral honey ham or smoked ham, I said I'm going to be very creative with spam and do the same thing.
Oh mercy! I don't know if we can spiral cut spam, but anyway, we'll see what we can do.
That was so funny. Well, it's good to have you on with us, and I'm seeing crazy over social media the holidays promotions, and please tell us what's going on. There's an opportunity for, I think it was 500 gift cards. Oh my God. Yeah. Tell us these specials and promotions.
Friday. That was for Black Friday. So Black Friday kicked off on Friday gone.
Uh-huh.
And it started off fantastic. It was Saturday. Then we have it's going on for the whole rest of this week. So Monday through Saturday for the rest of this week. Mm-hmm. So we have most things. We'll run out of a few things as always, but generally speaking. So we really tried to do this. We started this a number of years ago where, typically Black Friday is a bust down the door kind of thing because you want to get in and they want to create an environment where there's only going to be a few things. So you want to get in and get there first. And it's always dangerous and crowded. And so we made a decision a number of years ago to take a different route, which was to order more product and have it for a longer period of time so that people didn't have to come in at 5 o'clock in the morning if you didn't want to, because we should have most items for the whole time. And for the most part, that's worked out fantastic.
Okay. Good.
Because some people still want to come in at 5 in the morning because, when we order, I don't know, let's call it shower curtains, and you have 5 different colors. Well, you don't really know from year to year which one is going to go faster than the other one, right? So if you want to make sure and get your color, then you do have to kind of come early.
Get there early.
Generally speaking, we've done a much better job with not running out, so people don't have to, they can come when they want to.
Excellent. See, we got Denver is saying brilliant, Woody. So that's brilliant, Woody, the man himself, or brilliant idea that you stretched out this Black Friday over an extended period of time. But will you still be doing the 5 a.m. thing just for people to experience what that is like?
No, that's just on the Friday. But everybody tries to do their thing, right? So like this year, A.L. Thompson's did I think it was called Midnight Madness.
That was cool, 8 until midnight.
8 to midnight, and it was a fantastic event for them. Cars were everywhere. It did really well. Yeah. But everybody's trying to, capture that sort of first dollar, if you will.
Correct.
And try to outdo the other one, and so it's constantly changing. It's a moving target, but we we like our approach, which is to have the right items at the right price, at the right quantity, and let you just
Correct.
come in when you want to.
Yeah,
That's
so
how
it's
it
a
goes.
brilliant idea, says Denver Douglas. Congratulations to you guys being so creative with that. But how do you balance pretty much offering, let's say, festive value while managing rising cost? It's for staples and even meats. I've seen, I'm constantly all over the media and seeing posts where one had said that, like this Thanksgiving in the US would probably be one of the most expensive Thanksgiving dinners because of tariffs and all that sort of stuff. How are you able then to, because I see sometimes you have stuffing for a different price, cranberry for different prices. Like you see your Facebook posts, which tells you you're doing a darn good job on those, because it helps me make my shopping list as well.
Perfect. Well, I mean, the big item obviously is center of the plate, which is the protein, which is turkeys.
Yeah.
And we are not really seeing crazy pricing on turkeys. Like, so
Okay.
if you look at our deli dinners for Thanksgiving and Christmas, where you can either get pork, ham, or turkey with all the fixings, the price is the same as it was last year. It hasn't gone up. And in fact, we found a good deal on turkey breast. And so if you just wanted the
breast.
turkey breast, it's actually cheaper than last year.
Oh, that's good to know.
So for that particular comment, we haven't really seen a big issue on turkeys.
Okay.
But it's always a tricky time of year because it's such an important item for Thanksgiving.
It's a demand
for American Thanksgiving, and getting the right place at the right time it's tricky. Like in fact, this year from our supply, they sent us a container of turkeys that we couldn't actually use.
Oh,
so
really?
We had to scramble to get it replaced, and it was actually a huge problem. But anyway, we got it sorted. I don't know where they got these turkeys from, but they were so old. They must have come from Jesus's days. I don't know where they came from.
OMG. And you guys did the right thing.
Yeah, they had to be destroyed, and we had to replace them. So to your point earlier, that there's a story behind everything on a shelf. Logistics is a tricky business.
And kudos for you for identifying that and where quality, because you could have done all sorts of stuff with those. That speaks volumes to who you are.
Yeah.
Good for you.
That always comes out. You always get caught in the end of that stuff. So do the right thing.
But you see, again, people would never understand what you actually put up with. And these are things you have to have a keen eye to be able to identify. But there are there any Caymanian traditions, let's say, or even community focus initiatives that Foster's is highlighting this holiday? Is there anything that pops out?
Not really highlighting, but like local beef. We don't do a huge business with local beef, but Christmas time, it does go up significantly for local beef. Now they can get local beef from lots of places, but we have to have it also. And we only do probably 2 to 3 carcasses on any given week, and it probably goes up to 5 or 6 at Christmas time per week. But it's not a big part of our business. But again, for those that really want local beef, they also go down to their local butcher and get it themselves. And so the supermarkets probably play a smaller part in that for Christmas time. But I mean, like we do our black cake every year, which goes over very well. We do a lot of those. We have cassava cake, and we have different things. But it's Christmas tradition isn't a huge thing per se, because every household is different. Some want Brussels sprouts, and so we just try to make sure we have what everybody needs, and just try to get it right every year. Which
must be just blowing your brain, because we have such a diverse community, and you have people from all over the world that celebrate it, because we just Canadian Thanksgiving just went. What's the difference between that and US Thanksgiving, where actually certain ingredients and products on the shelves makes a world of a difference?
It's not hugely different in terms of products used. It's just about 6 weeks
earlier.
Apart. But it's not. But it's also much smaller. American Thanksgiving is much bigger than Canadian Thanksgiving. Much more important to get American Thanksgiving right. But as you say, there's all types of different things, right? So you have those that make black cakes themselves. You got to have your raisins and currants and all the fruits in a mixed peel that they use in those. but you have to have them out really early because they start soaking down, 2 to 3 months in advance. And so sometimes we get that wrong. Like if you don't order in February instead of March, they don't come in time. And so the Christmas logistics starts from the beginning of the year, right? Like, so you're like in our HBC and general merchandise, you start doing those orders from February.
Oh, really?
Yeah. So it's getting it right is really hard. And anybody who does logistics, you'll hear that all the time.
Yeah,
but and you're guessing, 10 months out on what you're going to do for Christmas, and then you're at the mercy of suppliers. Like last year, we didn't get any Christmas crackers from the UK because by the time they were ready to send them, they weren't going to make the time frame.
Yeah.
And then
And then you get stuck with all of this product, and then the season is over.
Well, we had that last year. We only had a matter of days to sell like the majority of our English Christmas product, and it was really difficult. It was really difficult. And of course, customers get upset because they plan their family traditions, to your question, around these things, expecting you to have them. And then when you don't, they get upset because you've now kind of screwed up their plans, and it's frustrating for everybody.
Joys of living on the island where we import pretty much everything that we eat, with the exception of a small percentage of our local farmers and our butchers, right? Yeah. But if you're in the Brack, you can get your local beef right there. We know over there in Brack, they're doing that. The pigs and the cows, definitely. That is a tradition.
Indeed.
Now, have you noticed a shift though in customer buying habits, as even though prices cost? Have you noticed any shifts?
Only marginally, not huge, because beef prices have gone up, and we talked about that on the show when I was here the last time. And one of the I was about to say excuses, but I won't call it excuses. One of the reasons, and one of the major reasons for that is the amount of cattle is just down, right? And if you have less product, then the price goes up. And that hasn't regulated itself yet. In fact, I saw an article today from Tyson, who is, Tyson is known for chicken, but they also do beef. They're closing one of their plants. I don't remember where they're closing it. And one of the issues that they're having is it's just too hard to get products. So they're closing a plant. So obviously that's not good. And one of the things that they cited is, again, lack of cattle, and they don't see regularizing for, say, 2 years.
Oh, wow.
However, when we look at our pricing trending, we do see beef trending down, right? It is coming down, but that's not to say that it's down from where it was. It's still higher than where it was, but at least it's trending down. But like, you have items like prime rib roast, which for those with a higher disposable income, that is a nice Christmas product, where it comes in, you have all of the crowns. Yeah. It's really pretty. Stuff's like $25 a pound or something. It's really expensive.
Oh, wow.
And so we haven't really seen like those types of things trending down. But in terms of buying patterns, because meat has been so high, we've seen pork sales go up. So people are sort of switching to some pork items. But hopefully the pricing will come down to where people can make the choice that they want, as opposed to the choice that they have to. Chicken has been pretty stable, even with the issue of Best Rest Chicken, which is out of Jamaica,
which I was going to go into the hurricane impact.
So we'll come up, but even with their issues, we haven't really seen any problems. Obviously we run out, and there's some items, but generally speaking, chicken has been fine and relatively stable. So meat's really been the problem.
Yeah, with how high the social media is with what's happening, unfortunately, in Jamaica, and we're seeing where they're begging for these poultry farmers, asking for generators so that they can slaughter. Where do you go? We're making sure that the product quality, are you depending on your suppliers to make sure that nothing is compromised? Because I have heard some chatter about, whether or not we should just give it a break for 3 months, 6 months until they get back. What type of assurance would you be giving persons, especially with meat products out of Jamaica?
We haven't had any issues, and Jamaica Broilers does a really good job. They have their reputation to
Jack?
maybe, I mean, this potentially could be said is naive, but we've never had a problem with them. I mean, they have all their inspectors, and they do their thing. They have their generator, because I've been to their facilities. They have big generators, and and they keep them maintained, and they do what they do, and we haven't had any problems with that. And they're, strangely enough, they're still shipping us product, and I was like, wow,
nice.
Don't they need to keep it all in Jamaica? But they're still shipping product. So until they make a different decision, we're still getting product. The only product we're not getting is the free range, which we have problems with them in the free range all the time anyway, because it's a sort of specialty item, and we have problems with that all through the year. So Melissa only exacerbated the issue.
Oh, okay. Now, has the recent hurricane season disrupted your supply chain or even product availability at all?
No, not really. Only a little bit out of Jamaica, but honestly, we don't get a lot out of Jamaica, so it is disrupting things like there's no pick of pepper sauce. We're reduced on ground provisions. Like Jamaica produces, who we get all of our green bananas from. They wiped out, I think, 100% of their trees. So we're having to bring green bananas out of the US, which are never as good, because they pick them. They need to pick them more immature, and they don't. For good cooking bananas, they need to be immature. What we get in the US isn't that. So we get complaints from customers all the time. But generally speaking, no, we're not really having any shipping problems per se because of Melissa.
Well, do you think then that our local farmers and that sort of stuff may be able to fill some sort of the gap, or are you exploring other areas that may not have been hit to see if you could similar terrain as Jamaica, similar quality, let's say other regional jurisdictions then?
Well, I'll start with local, and local, not really, because Cayman, at least at this point, doesn't have the agriculture space to really take care of our food
demands.
The soil is not good. Everything in Cayman is expensive. So our labor is more expensive than what it would be in another country. Electricity, water, land, everything is expensive. And then on top of it, our soil is not good. So we're never really going to be able to take care of ourselves like that unless we introduce technology. And we can do some things. We can do little things to a minor extent. But especially as the population grows, it just gets harder and harder for us to take care of ourselves. And it is what it is. But there are people like Beacon Farms who are exploring things. Alti is doing a big thing out in East End in terms, I think he has 100 and something acres that he is investing in and doing a better job with plantains and different things. So
nice.
Hopefully with all of that, we can get better, but will we be able to feed ourselves?
Only time will tell. Okay,
that's my opinion.
Yeah.
Going regionally, my comment is the same as it was the last time I was on the show, which is shipping lanes. We don't have the shipping lanes from any of those countries to get it directly, so it has to go to Jamaica or Miami to come back to Cayman.
Take care.
Yeah.
So with how CARICOM, and we are an associate member, for those who may have missed that interview. Do you think maybe, because I know they are actually trying to look at shipping services into the CARICOM jurisdictions, despite the unfortunate unrest of staging the U.S. Military in our seas. But to keeping it in context with this conversation, I digressed. Just keep it focused on the food. Do you feel that maybe because of us being associate members and understanding that we're all small island development states, that maybe by us being around the table or being associate members, that let's say through Chamber of Commerce and you guys may be able to explore, or you don't think that is an option, instead of it having to go to Jamaica or the US before coming here? Maybe there is, if the right conversations are being had. I'm just saying.
I don't think it's realistic to any scale. And the reason is twofold. Cayman is very small at 90,000 people. It might be too many people for us.
Yeah.
But in the scheme of things, 90,000 people is not a lot of people. And there's no two-way trade. So everything that comes to us, we ship back empty containers, right?
Mm-hmm.
So to make it worthwhile for a ship to come with product from Dominican Republic or wherever, you have to fill that boat first of all.
To make it worth its while.
But then it's going to go back empty unless you can do some kind of tripartite or four countries or whatever, where it leaves Dominican Republic, comes to Cayman, then goes to Belize, and whoever.
Yeah.
Maybe that might make some sense, but then that starts to get tricky in terms of who gets what on what days and how long does it take for the turnaround. So we have to pull product from places to where we can fill a boat.
Okay.
Otherwise, it just doesn't make any sense in the whole economies of scale.
All right. We had a question or statement, comment made by Denver. Roast beef is a shortage at Foster's Food Fair, often out of stock.
Roast beef? What kind of roast beef?
Denver, need more clarity there. What type of roast beef? What round? A special cut? What?
What are the reasons why there are beef shortages? Other than being out of stock from time to time, I don't think we're having beef shortages. I'll have to ask Danny about that tomorrow over a cup of porridge. No,
I think he was talking about when you were saying one of the Tysons, even though they're knowing, he's probably caught it off. Where you said one of those.
Oh, Tyson closed the
Tysons. Yeah. Maybe that's what he's.
That's a strategic decision on their part. Oh, for sandwiches. Sorry. Okay, that's bad ordering. That's our fault, and I will make a note of that.
You see, Sabrina Speaks family, trust me, Woody is good at this, because every time he comes on this show, I got another comment to make from Miss Barbara G as well, who's happy that you're here. He makes his notes, and I can tell you, Woody is on the ball. He will go and he will ask his questions, and he'll definitely get it rectified. Miss Barbara G says about the airport Fosters. There's a space, I think, for buses.
There's a space, yes.
Yeah, but that is now being abused or something like that. What's going on with that? So it's something going on with the bus space that I think it's being abused. She just wanted me to ask you about that.
Well,
at the airport.
I'll put this back on you as being a former politician. In my opinion, the politicians are who screwed that up, because you were no longer legally allowed to clamp cars.
Okay, gotcha.
Unless I have security outside just guarding that spot,
there's no way of people taking.
Well, I wouldn't say there's no way, but it would be really difficult for us to keep people out of there, because they get very aggressive. Sometimes it takes the police to get involved to move people out of handicapped spots, and it's just difficult because and the age-old response is, "Oh, I was only in there for 2 minutes."
Yeah,
okay.
Yeah.
While you were in there for 2 minutes, the person who needed it can't use it.
My God.
But it's always tricky. So if they want that fixed, talk to your local politician and get us to be allowed to clamp cars again. I thought it was a good policy, because people were complaining about the $100. Well, the fee is $0 if you don't park in the wrong spot.
Yeah.
What are you worried about the fee for?
Yeah. Wow. Well, that's interesting. Let's hope that's a takeaway again from this, because we know they do listen. Now, Woody, speaking of costs, let's go closer to home.
Yes.
The government recently announced new revenue fees. Now, how does these challenges affect Fosters, and pretty much to what extent do you foresee them being passed on to customers? We know that the Honorable Minister did say that come January of 2026, based on the demands of the new condos, new hotels that are opening, that is going to be over 40,000 plus work permits still in play, right? Your establishment, just by the very sheer size. And I think the last unemployment stats that were out is 1,300, 1,400 Caymanians. You definitely can't do without external help. Doesn't matter what nationality. With government recently announcing these new revenue fees. How do these affect your operation?
The only one that should really affect us, because a lot of it wasn't really directed at businesses like ours, but the work permit, not work permit, but the fees on
The filing fees?
the filing fees and those, that has the potential to affect us significantly. Somewhere between 200,000 and 300,000. That has the potential to affect us. That's relatively significant. Now, hopefully we can reduce the amount of amendments, which obviously then mitigates against that. We're hoping that they are able to do what they promise, which is to do away with the temporary systems, because they're actually getting the 1 years and the full ones out sooner, so that you don't need to do temporaries. And
which was the only reason why people were doing temporaries in the first place, because it was taking so long for a GOL, a work permit grant.
Exactly. So hopefully they're able to fix those issues. But between the amendments and the other minor tweaks, and if they also put on an increase on work permits themselves,
which hasn't been talked about yet.
Yeah. So we're making an assumption that that's possible. And let's say they put on a 10%. Across the board, that could hit us for another 150,000 thereabouts, because we pay roughly $1.5 million in work permit fees every year. So it's significant.
So despite they're hoping not to impact the local market, it's still going to indirectly impact you. And then the next cost, the next question would be, to what extent are these costs going to be absorbed by Foster's versus passing it on to customers? That is a straight up, we know you are in the business. Everything comes with a price, and
true, but we don't really just throw it back on the community willy-nilly, notwithstanding what people say and what people feel.
Right.
And I'm not taking away for how expensive groceries are in the Cayman Islands, because they are. But we wouldn't just simply go and recover that. The first thing that we try to do is, my latest stupid saying is, remove the bubbles. And when I say remove the bubbles, is remove inefficiency. Right. How do we do a better job of productivity? How do we stop doing this so we don't have to pay this unnecessarily? How do we find
smarter then
to chop out, let's say, $500,000 in new expenses? That is the first order of business, to try to do that. It's not to simply say, well, if you put it on me, I'm going to put it on the customer, and it is what it is. It's not my fault. That's not generally how we, and I think most businesses do things. Now, some of these fees are pretty difficult. So I mean, when you look at some of the other ones, I mean, law firms, I mean, maybe they will have to put up their fees. I don't know, but I'm not in that space, so I can't really speak.
Right. But how does the licensing of your vehicle work? Will that not impact you for a non-Caymanian driver of your fleet?
No,
I mean,
because
it's
Caymanians
an
will, so I don't think that'll affect us. However, I mean, where that might affect us is right now is difficult for people to get to work. Because while we're not open 24 hours to the public, we're almost open 24/7 for working. And we don't have a very good public transport opportunity, right? So you're almost forcing people to come here who have never drove before to learn how to drive
and get their own car.
Yeah, because I mean, when you look at housing is another problem. And for you to find somewhere an accommodation to where you can afford, you might end up, east of Savannah and work in Republics. How is that person supposed to get to work?
Yeah.
So they go buy themselves a little Honda Fit and learn how to drive, and we have another problem on a roundabout. Right? And that's how that works. And so now all of a sudden, if you're going to make it so difficult for them to be able to afford a car, well, now what are they doing? And so if it gets bad enough to where people aren't showing up to work, well then, and this is just plain devil's advocate.
Yeah. We're just having a conversation.
do we now at some point, if it gets bad enough, hopefully it won't, but if it gets bad enough, do we need to start looking at busing our people to work? Well, now that's another expense again. So there's all of these possibilities of that wonderful word, unintended consequences.
Yes.
When we do these things. So, but we have to wait until it
You
plays
just got
out.
time.
But
And just,
when we talk about the budget that the government has passed, well, and we won't go into whether it's right or it's wrong, but they passed it. And
it's passed.
when you look at how much surplus they're looking at getting on that budget, it's a razor thin margin. And so if they don't do this fee increase, then we're now in deficit.
Yeah.
Right.
Which is a very fine line, thin, like you say,
So
razor thin.
So it's tricky. It's really tricky.
Oh my gosh. Denver says, call it bias if you'd like. However, our food suppliers, Foster's, Food Fair, Kirk's, Hurley's, should have some reduction on cost of work permits. What's your take on that? Because it's not like we have the persons that could make you all Caymanize or spousal Caymanians or PR. You just don't. The skill set, one, there's so much. It would be interesting to know what varying occupations. They just see you pushing your cart, coming into the supermarket and think, oh, you just got people working in the warehouse operating forklifts and cranes, or people stocking shelves and that sort of stuff. But there's more than meets the eye. What's the average occupational or types of jobs that are in your supermarket?
Well, I mean, we
high
have
fees too.
Well, we have. I don't know how many different
occupation types.
Yeah, I don't know how many we have. It's a good question. But we got pharmacists, accountant, meat cutters, cashiers, merchandisers, cake decorators, baristas. I mean, we chefs, cooks, prep people. And within immigration, as you would know yourself, because I mean, this is your space, the difference between one person and another in terms of a fee difference,
yes,
like in our deli, could be the difference between in the job description whether they're going to use a knife or not.
Correct.
I mean, it's as silly as that. So at one level, if they're not necessarily going to use a knife, then it's one fee. But if they're going to use a knife, then it's a different fee. I'm like,
yeah. But it's in the same space.
I mean, I don't remember how many pages of different fee structures there are, but it's just so complicated.
It comes in like the codes for customs.
Well, yeah, I think it would be better. I think it would be easier for everybody all around if we had an easier set of categories to where there wasn't so many. I don't know how many pages, but there's multiple pages of categories.
Correct.
I mean, let's get it down to one page or 20 items or something, because I don't know that there's that many degrees of difference.
I think they're on.
Well, most of them are laborers, right? So
right.
It's unskilled laborers. Why do I need to have so many different layers? To me, it doesn't really make sense. Now, that doesn't go to Denver's comment that we should reduce, but I think it would be easier for all of us, and I think it would help with bureaucracy and efficiency at work, and not all of the fighting between us and them. And well, is this person a merchandiser, or are they a shelf stacker, or is like, well, there's no difference. They're the same. Why do they have to be in different categories? So like one of them is $1,300 and another one is $3,500, and really they're the same person.
Well, I think what they're trying to do, and they're probably actually on their way of not necessarily restructuring the entire regs from what I'm hearing based on what little communication is being made publicly, but based on the difference in salary that you pay a merchandiser and to differentiate the two. You understand? I think they're going to be looking at CVs and exactly the difference in salary between 1 and 2. So you just need to find that sweet spot if you're going to just categorize everybody as a merchandiser, even though we may have different tiers. But what would be just finding that neutral ground? I think they're on their way of looking at it. And I don't think you want it to be a case where then your work permit fees are determined on how much your proposed salary would be, because then that is going to be even more challenging, because qualification has to do with it. It's going to be they're going to need to be talking to people like you who are
Well,
in it.
at the end of the day, they simply need to make it easier, right?
Yes, I agree.
Because they don't want to reduce the amount of, how do I put this, eyeballs on each piece. So, well, let me say it another way. Immigration or work touches every single piece of paper, right?
Correct.
So all 40,000 work permit individuals, and if they got a temporary before a full, now they're touching it twice. It's just so much labor expended on all of that workload. If they could just make it easier, they could turn them around faster, and they wouldn't have so many problems. But they have. I don't know that there's any. Anyway, let me not get into that, because I'll get myself in trouble saying something that I have to respond to. But at the end of the day, they need to make it more efficient.
You can be very candid. Here, I think this space is safe enough for you, because that's what we're all about. And that's the only how you're going to evoke change, because from one side, you may hear persons criticizing, let's say, the policymakers, but from someone who's working in it, operating a business, and you're looking at efficiency differently, it could be a case where you're implementing smarter processes, getting rid of, I could call it dead weight to help you maybe, and just make it more, as you rightfully say, efficient. But how do you balance that in persons losing jobs is another thing, because you are having to do the same thing in the operations of your business as well. Could we see it where then people are now, and as we talk about AI being smarter, if that saves,
Yeah, AI is a tricky one, and I know you were chatting with Danny about that earlier. We have not really leaned into AI very much, other than relatively easily, like writing emails and looking at different things. And so some process we're playing with it.
Right.
But to say that we're getting to a point to where we're going to reduce employee count by AI, we're really far away from that.
Because we're seeing in some articles where people are just running huge warehouses, just fully automated or AI generated with robots and stuff. And of course, we here, like you rightfully say, could take us years before we totally replace people in, let's say, progressives. You don't foresee that happening here.
No, well, I wouldn't say I don't foresee it happening. I don't see it happening right away. There's a lot still to be done, but that's in my space. I mean, in other spaces where it's, not physical labor, like I need somebody to put a can of peas on the shelf. I need somebody to cut meat.
Yeah.
So we're from my industry, we're a good ways away from that. And when you look at self-checkout, which I know we talked about on the last show, we're not in any rush to go down and replace our cashiers with self-checkout, because that has a whole raft of issues with that.
That's good.
I think it's going to be something that we offer at some point, and probably relatively soon. But it'll be a small offering just for those who like it, but it's not aimed at replacing cashiers.
Okay, gotcha.
It's aimed at those who really just want to do their own thing and get in and get out.
Okay, good for you. Miss Barbara G is asking, can you please extend the opening hours from 9 to 9 p.m. in East End? What's your takeaway on that?
I think the only time that's really necessary is on Saturday. The rest of the day is just don't warrant it from a sales perspective.
Okay, you just don't see the demand.
Except for Saturday. Saturday is the only day.
Oh, now that you say that, Saturday. What's your take on Sunday trade?
Sunday trade, I think is relatively close to pushing that door.
I am so happy for your candor, because the demand is there. Do you see that actually becoming a reality where you're going to have to open?
It already is. So we can talk about whatever hypocrisy we want to talk about and say, well, Foster's shouldn't because it's a family day or a church day or whatever. But save for the supermarkets, all restaurants are open, liquor stores are open, gas stations are open, McRuss, ShopRite, they're all open on Sunday. So it's
The only
not that. The only thing that makes us different from them is we're bigger.
your square footage is what's stopping you.
Yeah, and as I said, I don't think Jesus cares about size.
There you go. So, okay, I love where this conversation is going because I'm seeing others that are saying, you know, the time has come. And that could be a split conversation, but for another day. But I thank you for your candor in answering that, because right now the only thing that is blocking you is your size.
Mhm.
But you wouldn't have a problem transitioning into that if you have to.
No, we wouldn't. I mean, obviously there comes with, again, more logistics, right? So now it's you have to then schedule your cleaning differently. So there's things that you then have to do differently to accommodate 7 days a week. We wouldn't do 24 hours. We don't see the need to say open past 10 o'clock at least at this point. Our 6:30 to 10 works for us, and we don't really foresee a need to change that, but we do see a need to start Sunday trading.
Okay, good. What type of advocacy are you doing? Are you doing that solo, or is it a group of persons of your size that is over the square footage? That will you be making a presentation possibly to government for hopefully amendments to that piece of legislation?
We would. I'd say that's probably sometime in 2026. I don't have a date or anything. And it just needs to happen. There's going to be a conversation because, of course, the religious aspect is going to come up. The family values aspect is going to come up for certain. But I think it's going to happen.
It's only a matter. It's not if, it's when.
Yeah, because we could have done this a long time ago.
Remember after Ivan, you guys were open and everybody was too happy to shop. To get their hot meals, especially too on Sundays.
Well, we were, and it did well. It was March of 2025 when the country was starting to get on its feet, and we were we're pretty much back to normalish back then. And then the topic got kicked into touch of saying, why is Foster's and other supermarkets still open? And so the discussion then was had. And I actually got a call from a politician. I won't say who it was, but high up the food chain of politicians back then, and said, "Well, Woody, is anybody in government giving you a hard time? Stay open." I was like, "Well, because it's against the law, sir, and that's not how we roll. So either you guys change the law, or we're closing." And so we closed and said, "Well."
And the law has remained, the square footage.
Well, the law remained, except for, and I don't remember when it was, but I don't know, maybe 6-7 years ago or whatever it was, it came back up again. And I think Alden was premier at the time, if I remember correctly. And they sort of went out and did not an open
like a public
survey,
consultation,
but just calling on those. And we decided not to enter the conversation because we said, when Cayman is ready, they'll say yes and we'll open. Until they're ready, then we're just going to we'll stay closed. And so at the time, and then they made the decision at that point to say, well, I can never remember the actual number, but it's either 3,000, 3,500, 4,000, one of those three. If you're that size or smaller, you can open by law, and if you're that size or larger, you can't.
Okay.
So that was the change back then. I don't remember exactly how long. Maybe it was 10 years ago. I don't remember how long.
Right.
But that was the then change. But if you read the changes from, let's say, the 70s, it started with tourism. Right, we were closed on Sunday. It says, well, we've invited these tourists here to stay. They need to have a drink at the bar. So they made a change. And then they added a pharmacy, and then they added this. And so we've been slowly adding things to the Sunday trading.
Correct.
Until now, it's just, it would be the only us big guys who, if we were
disenfranchised.
But everybody else can just kind of do it and nobody worries about it.
Correct.
Floral stores. I mean, whoever feels like opening a Sunday opens.
Exactly.
Nobody troubles them.
I saw a garment store religiously on Facebook. We're open on Sunday, and they're not selling souvenirs because there's an exemption list, and they do not fit that criteria, and they are advertising big, not picking on them, but it's just going to your point. who's holding them accountable? So I think the time has come that, this foolishness goes away, and it should be a preference of the store owners whether or not they want to. Tartarian says in the UK on Sunday, supermarkets are open half day.
Well, to his point, we would more than likely we would work less than a shift. Like a shift, we call a shift 8 hours. We would probably work less, shorter hours than that, or maybe we'll call it 6 to 8 hours.
Right.
And for the most part, it would be, and we would see how it goes. But generally speaking, at this point, we would say it would be on a voluntary basis. If you want to, if you don't want to work on a Sunday, then we wouldn't force you. But like currently, we pay time and a half for Sunday, so those that work on Sunday get paid more, and we would maintain that at this stage of the game
as a policy. Mm-hmm.
So as a policy and as a benefit to saying, well, it'll help you to volunteer because you're getting paid more. And so for those that simply didn't want to do it, then fair enough.
Yeah,
now, if it got to the point to where we were now open on Sunday, there was a part of what we're doing, and then we couldn't get labor, well, obviously now we got to then do something different.
Yeah.
But I'm relatively certain that, sticking to shorter hours and do it on a voluntary basis and paying a premium for working that day, that we shouldn't have a problem.
I agree with you. I totally agree with you. Just let me make sure, Josh, he's complimenting you. Always enjoy the interviews, Mr. Foster, and learning about the logistics of grocery business. Barbara G is saying Saturday is good, but Friday would probably show a huge increase in business as too many people are stuck in traffic who would rather be home and then go to do their shopping. So I'm getting Barbara G would prefer that she was the lady who asked about extended hours and till 9 o'clock. Yeah. And Connie is saying, so they open the bars and not the supermarket. That's a question.
Yeah, there you have it.
But square footage doesn't actually impact the bars, Connie. It's their how loud their music is playing on Sundays after 12, I think it is what it is. So it's very interesting though. But I'm happy that we asked that question, because more and more I'm hearing the conversation being had. Why isn't Foster's open? And then I know at one point that when you guys were at the Strand, there was a smaller portion of it where I think, that was open, and then that didn't work out. And people were like, but I want to go to the grocery store.
It worked out. It worked out fine. But to your point, to where there's regulations for, and I haven't looked at it in a very long time, so my information now will be very old. But at the time when the pharmacy was open on Sunday, we had a grill between the pharmacy and the supermarket. And so just a grill would come down, and so you could actually physically look through the grill into the store. They made us black out that grill because they said you can't look into the store.
What?
We're like, surely you're joking. They're like, no, you have to black it out. So we're like, Jesus. So we'd have to get things and put shelving in front of it, and so it was
God.
Really silly. But it was after what I told you about in March of 2005, after Ivan, to when we said, all right, well, you know what? Since you're going to give us a hard time about staying open on Sundays and it's actually illegal, we're simply going to close, and we close the pharmacy as well. It says we're just going to close until Cayman is ready to change the law. We're just going to close.
Well, my love, I think we're there. I think we've beat that topic up. I got your stance, and we're definitely going to keep the conversation rolling here. The conversation has been had as to whether or not Cayman is at that point now where Sunday trade is allowed. Of course, there is going to be public discussion to be had. But this is, of course, because we don't want to do anything in isolation. But it's just a fair conversation to have. When we go away, Walmart's open 24 hours, and I bet you it is what it is. Home Depot, Lowe's, they're the first one there before they catch us on their flight back home. So you're like, why? At the end of the day, I can run a poll. Yeah,
nobody likes change.
Yeah. Good idea. We're going to run a poll. Sandra got this down pat. I'm going to probably throw that poll on her, Connie, even though I would love to do it here. I don't know the logistics of running a poll, but I will definitely like to do a poll on that topic about Sunday trade. Sounds like you got a yapper as well. Mine is downstairs. Your doggy.
Sorry about that. It's my wife's
No,
dog,
no.
not mine.
Oh, now you're going to blame it on her. I will not comment there because I actually love dogs. Yeah, Connie, we're going to do a poll on that. Definitely. Tartarian, Sundays sound like a good day for training young staff and part-timers. Interesting.
Yeah, but we do a fair amount of that now with our bagger program, and we do hire youngsters for cashiers and merchandising positions. So it is great training because, and I think we talked about this on the last show, where we take it seriously. They have to show up to work. If they don't show up to work, we'll fire them.
Correct.
Because they have to understand, if you commit to something, you have to do it. It's not just the over for when you feel like coming.
Mm-hmm.
So it is really good training ground.
Correct. Well, like I say, I agree with Connie. If the bars are open and we know that it is what it is, I think we are at that point, and we will do this poll, be it on the CMR TV platform or the Sabrina Speaks. It doesn't matter. We just need to get the information. But I think we're going to do it, and let's see what we can do with getting that to our powers, the leaders to be. And it's early in an administration, so you got time to recover if you upset a certain bunch of people. I think it's wise, if you're going to remove that square footage, that you do it now. But yeah, as Marshall says, Walmart is open 24 hours, but they
not
are
open 24 hours.
They're not open 24 hours, but they open 7 days a week. Yeah. There we go. Woody, thank you so much. Any closing remarks? Anything you would like to leave with us, as we go through the season? And again, I want to personally thank you for taking time out of your busy evening. We often talk, and like I said, once I get it here, I'm going to share it with you, and I will give the feedback to my listening audience as they come. Once I see you, or I'll send it through to you, and any questions asked. But it is always a pleasure to have you here, so that we can see from the lens of a merchant, and especially you in the supermarket industry. Everybody is screaming how cost of living is here, and we need to do things. We need to do this. You just got to understand it.
My only parting words is the government has had one meeting so far in terms of trying to set up a trade commission or trade committee or whatever.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
In terms of looking at how can we adjust shipping routes or buy from different countries or whatever. So they've had one meeting, and I think, I don't know, it was probably 25 of us there. So, and it was well attended.
Okay.
So I know the government's I know they've talked to the government of Brazil, they've talked to the Dominican Republic, they talked to Honduras and Panama. So they're out there pounding the pavement. Mm-hmm. And so they're then trying to bring us all together to see if we can come up with some type of consensus. Okay. So that's encouraging. Now, are we going to be able to find well, I know we won't find a silver bullet, but are we going to be able to find some ways of getting things better or faster or cheaper or more efficiently? Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. We'll have to see, but at least we're talking. So that's a start. Promising and encouraging.
That's a start. Well, thank you so much again. Really, really love having you on, and we will definitely keep you up to date with how this poll is going, be it here or Sandra do it. I'll reach out to her. But we'll definitely keep you in the loop, and let's hope we can evoke change respectfully, and that persons will have choice. I think we have reached that phase here in the Cayman Islands, that we got to change with the times, and respectfully, if you are a business owner, it should be your choice. And I can see it going into even how we operate, even on Saturday nights going into Sundays. I can see that really at the door. Again, having some changes there as well. But we have to be respectful. I totally get it, but we also have to be realistic with the changing times that we are. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Kudos to Mr. Woody, son of the soil, serving our people. That's Denver Douglas, bigging you up. Thank you so much, my love.
Thank you, Sabrina.
Do have a good evening. Always a pleasure. Take care.
You too.
God bless. Thanks. There you have it, ladies and gentlemen. It's always good talking to Woody, and he's always so... he gives us a total different perspective from what you see instead of just going in and pushing your carts. And Connie Palmer, I will definitely do a poll to see what that is all about. And I want persons to actually participate in this poll of whether or not you think the law should change for supermarkets that are over that 3,000 square feet, whether or not they should be allowed to open. Has Cayman reached that point now where any business, if they so desire, should reach that? But specific to this conversation here, for supermarkets that are over the 3,000 square foot limit, whether or not that will be in something that Cayman wants. And as we see the shifting tides here in our country changing, and the demand is there. So I would love to really get your feedback on that. And we will definitely be putting it up there. But yes, you've stayed with me, and I want to thank all of you for tuning in to this edition of Sabrina Speaks. And the conversation with Woody gave us a lot again to think about, from the holiday special to rising cost, drop in even turkey breast. Yes, I like butterball for some reason. Yes, we even talked about the hurricanes and the impacts and tariffs, even though we were just very polite with going there, and government fees and the bigger question of Cayman's, even food sustainability, which was pretty much like a segue in and a continuation on from our previous interview. But what is clear is that what ends up on our tables is definitely shaped by forces, both global and local. And as we can see, Foster's continues to play a vital role in helping families, you and me, celebrate with cheer while navigating all of those challenges that we don't even know goes behind actually what it takes to run this operation, and definitely the financial implication, the costs that it takes in running an establishment of that nature. So we want to thank Mr. Woody for sharing his insights, and definitely for being a part of Sabrina Speaks. Once again, we appreciate him very much. So as I bring this episode to a close, a reminder to all clerks and cashiers, yes, please remember to ask for IDs when customers use debit or credit cards. And it's really simple but important step to protect both the customer and the reputation of the store, because it also helps keep our community safe as well. And I want to thank each and every one of you for religiously tuning in. Yeah, and I'm looking forward to you tomorrow as we we're going into a topic about work permit amendments. And we're seeing where there's questions being asked about the income. We will also look at what the white paper, the bill is saying, the one that's going to be debated in the next couple of weeks, about what the income threshold is for adding dependents, because that now has increased, and also the amount of per dependent has increased. Now, is that actually blocking out a certain sector of people who are working here based on their income, that they will never, based on their income, have the ability without a working spouse here to have a dependent added? We will explore those in layman's terms. Your questions, your comments will be important. And again, we'll continue the conversation with Denny in regards to that cause 35 and what he is referring to when it feels as though we are opened up a Pandora box, we're selling out our country. We will explore that as well and tie it all into tomorrow's conversation. So I want you to tell your friends, tell your family to tune in tomorrow, participate in that discussion as well, because we're going to break it down in layman's terms here. So thank you again for tuning in. I am Sabrina. It has been a pleasure being here with you on this Monday afternoon. And until next time, please remember to stay informed, stay safe, and keep the conversations going, because we definitely need to keep this one going about removing the square footage for the supermarkets opening on Sundays. Okay? Love you lots. Good night. God bless, and see you tomorrow.
That's a wrap for today's edition of Sabrina Speaks. Thank you for tuning in and for being part of the conversation. Remember, the dialogue doesn't stop here. Stay engaged, stay informed, and most importantly, stay empowered. We'll be back tomorrow at 5 p.m., same time, same place, right here on CMR TV and radio, where your voice matters and your truth is heard. Until then, Cayman, take care of yourself and each other.
That's it for today's edition of Sabrina Speaks, where your voice matters, your story counts, and your truth is always welcome. Join us weekdays from 5 until 6:30 p.m. right here on CMR TV as we dive into the topics that matter most to you. Catch the show live or on demand at cmrtv.com. And don't forget to follow us on Facebook, YouTube, and Instagram so you never miss a moment. Until next time, stay informed, stay engaged, and always speak your truth.